Hello everybody, my name is Tom and I'm going to be showing you my FPL team. In fact, I am showing you my FPL team, which is my current draft as of, Tuesday evening. So we've got 3 days until the deadline as of the time of recording. I've been chopping and changing my team regularly over the last 3-4 weeks, however long the game's been out for. And this is the team that I finally settled on. To be honest, I'm really pleased with it. There's a couple of slightly punty picks and a bit of a risk of minutes and various things, but I'm going to go through each one kind of briefly, just discuss my feelings about why I picked that particular player because that's the whole purpose of the video basically. So yeah, but just a bit about me, my history of FPL. I've been playing for about 10 years now, and I wasn't really taking it seriously until about 3 or 4 years ago. When I got like a 50k ranking, I was like, oh, that's actually pretty good, considering there was 5 or 6 million people playing. And yeah, so I started picking up, and the next season was a bit rubbish. Came like 100 and something thousand, and then the season after that, which was 2020, 2021. So season before last, I came 1079th. So that was when I really try hard, properly try hard, and I watched a lot of football, and I did more eye test and stats. And now I'm probably gone the opposite direction. After finishing really high rank a couple of seasons ago. Last season I started going much more stats and didn't watch a lot of football, and again my rank kind of suffered. So this season I'm going to try and keep it balanced, watch football because I enjoy watching football, but also take into account the stats, but not go too heavy on them. I think they're very important, but I think a good mixture of eye test and looking at the stats is important. And that's kind of why I've come up with a team like this. I know it's very template, arguably. There's a couple of picks which maybe are slightly less template, but there's a reason why these people are template. It's because they're the best picks. Everyone's been looking at expected points and points from the last couple of seasons and the fixtures and the pre-season form. There's so many different things, and when you take all these things into account, everyone is looking at the same things, and therefore everyone's kind of drawing the similar sort of conclusions. You kind of end up with a fairly boring template team, basically. But don't be tempted to just go different just for the sake of it. This is absolutely fine to go template, and then the variation will emerge after the first couple of game weeks when people start changing things around. There'll be wild cards being thrown in with effectively another wild card with the World Cup in the middle of the season this year. There's basically a strategy which I'm kind of tempted with, and I am, if I do go for it, it's high risk, but just throwing in a really early wild card, set up your team for literally 3 or 4 game weeks and then aim to wild card when we have more information. I'm generally in favour of early wild cards anyway, so yeah, that's definitely a temptation for me to just tweak the team to really capitalise on the first 3-4 fixtures and just go ham, triple up on all the best fixtures. But then that said, the teams that have good fixtures in the first 3 or 4 game weeks kind of continue their good fixtures into the 6, 7, 8 game weeks, like Arsenal for example, which you can see I'm tripled up on Arsenal. So yeah, I don't know. It's certainly interesting. So like I say, I finished 1079th, two points from the top 1000. It would have been lovely to get a triple digit finish, but not to be, unfortunately. I'm still kind of scarred by that Bruno Fernandes assist where he never touched the ball and he got 3 points for it. And I still think someone in the top 10, in the top 999 people, definitely got 3 points for that Fernandes assist, which I never got, and then probably kicked me out the top 1000. Miffed, bitter. Yes, I am. I'm a very bitter old man. But yeah, my goal for this season is to have fun. Last season, I really didn't have fun. There were so many double game weeks, and I just completely tailed off and kind of lost interest towards the end of the season, just because it was such a slog of the double game weeks and the cancellations, and I was just week by week I was taking hit after hit, which is completely against my normal way of playing. I think the year I finished just outside the top 1000 all year, I believe I took 4 hits all year, whereas last year I took 20-30 hits. It was insane. I was just going a bit crazy, and I kind of just tailed off. So this year I want to have more fun. I don't want to be emotionally tied to my team, because it's very easy to become emotionally tied to the result of your FPL team. It's very easy to feel down in the dumps when your team doesn't do well, but you got to try and think about 3, 4, 5 game week period and look how your team's doing in that period, rather than just focus on one. If your team has one bad week, it's going to happen. As good as this team is, for example, this team is not going to every single week score 100 points. It's not going to happen. So very much accept the rubbish game weeks when they come, because they're going to come. Don't get down in the dumps about it, and enjoy the highs when you can. I'm quite happy as well, because I've already achieved quite a good rank. I'm kind of happy to also take a bit of a punt on some random people, and I know I haven't done it very much in this particular team. I do think that I am tempted. One person I'm still tempted to put in my Game Week 1 team who's not here at the moment is Callum Wilson. I'm so tempted to put Callum Wilson. I've been toying with how I can get him in. I've considered strongly about cutting out Mason Mount and upgrading Archer into a third attacker. So putting Mount down to like a 4.5 bench fodder, bringing in Callum Wilson, because I really do think, I know Callum Wilson's got a couple of tough fixtures. I think he's playing City and Liverpool in the first two of the first 5 fixtures, but apart from that, his fixtures are good. Newcastle's fixtures are good. Newcastle looks strong this year. I just think Callum Wilson's, he's a tried and tested Premier League attacker. He scores goals. He's on penalties. Something about Callum Wilson is calling to me, and although he's not in my draft at the moment, I really, really am tempted to go a bit rogue and chuck him in there somehow. Like I say, possibly at the expense of the 8 million midfielder slot in Mason Mount at the moment. I really don't want to cut out Jesus, because I think he's going to be, he's ridiculously high owned, so if you don't have him and he does well, then you're screwed. I don't take ownership into account that much, but the fact that he's like 70% at the moment is insane. And also I do genuinely think he's going to do well. He's a very good striker. He's going to be playing up top for Arsenal, who look strong. They've strengthened well this season, and yeah, I think it's going to do well. So I think Jesus isn't going anywhere. Haaland versus Kane for me is my other dilemma. I definitely want Haaland and I definitely want Kane. I've been trying to squeeze them both into the team. I've had a 3-meme option with Salah, Haaland, Kane. It's fine. It kind of works, but it does definitely have some downside. For example, you can't have this like more premium back line as such, or you have like a really rubbish midfield. So yeah, it's just too much of a compromise for me, and I'd rather just go one or the other. I've been on Kane like for the last 2 weeks basically. I've been settled on Kane, and he's a stats machine. His XG, X whatever. It's all like the top of the league. Expected assists, expected goals. It's just Spurs are very attacking. They can score against anyone. Why have I gone for Haaland? I don't know. The last 24 hours, I've kind of been changing my mind towards Haaland more. I'm not sure why. I think it's more because Man City are just... I guess it's because he performed well in the Community Shield, whatever it's called nowadays. And also the fact that Man City are just so good at attacking. Like, kind of, if I go for Kane over Haaland, that leaves me with just Cancelo, who's not even like a real FPL pick, because everyone has Cancelo pretty much. So it's just like, it kind of leaves me with nobody to cheer on for Man City, and I don't know. I do think also Haaland is a better captaincy pick. Even if I had Kane, I'd probably captain Salah against Fulham in the first game week. And I'm not going to captain Kane in game week 2 because they're playing Chelsea. So in terms of captaincy, which captaincy is like super important, I do think Haaland is definitely a better option game week 2 for Bournemouth. Of course, Pep Roulette is a risk, and we could see Haaland benched or at least like hooked off after 60 minutes, or even he's benched and comes on for half an hour. But even if he comes on half an hour, he could still score a couple of goals. Bournemouth look a little bit like they might be some whipping boys, to be honest, this season. Who might be completely wrong, but they look a bit injury stricken and a bit thin on the ground, and the manager's not installing much confidence in a recent interview. So yeah, Haaland captaincy game week 2 is kind of pushing me maybe towards him, and again that's maybe short-sighted, but also the fact I've already mentioned there's an early wildcard option. So if Haaland isn't getting the minutes, if he's not quite banging the goals in as we expect from game week 1 onwards, like from the get-go, then Haaland to Kane is just an easy switch. But this is why I'm so torn, because Kane is just like guaranteed 90 minutes every week. He's got Son, Richarlison when he's not suspended. You've got Kulusevski. Spurs look good going forward, and I've even got another Spurs asset here in Doherty, who I don't think is very popular at the moment. I don't know how popular pick is he. 1%. He's only owned by 1%. Has everyone just forgotten how amazing he was in the last season? Sorry, I just realised there's like literally no structure to this video at all. I'm just talking on a whims about various people in my team, but there we go. That's my style. Free rolling. So yeah, Doherty I think is clearly very under the radar. 1%. I've seen him in very few drafts. I've watched a few videos on YouTube of other FPL content creators, and very few people have got him in their teams. I mean, obviously there's a temptation to bring in like James if you can sacrifice $1 million from somewhere else, but I think at the 5 million price point, I've already tripled up on Arsenal, so I'm not going to have someone like Gabriel. I just think Doherty's going to start. I know his minutes is going to be a bit risky, And Spurs have brought in other wing backs, but Doherty was on fantastic form before he got injured last season. Fantastic form, and I just think he's gonna start the season, and he's gonna start the season well. Spurs have got good fixtures. Another reason why I kind of want Kane over Haaland, but still can't make my mind up. So yeah, I do think Doherty's absolutely fine pick. And if he doesn't work out, if he's not getting the minutes, then ship him out. Early wildcard, bang bang bang. Yeah, moving on to the rest of the guys on the back line just kind of speak for themselves. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Cancelo, and Robertson, they're like the most expensive defenders in the game for a reason. But even like the fact that they're 7.5 and 7 million respectively, like they're gonna probably outscore the likes of Mason Mount, who's 8 million. So they're just so good value that it just makes sense to get them in the team. And yeah, I think Doherty's going to be underpriced this season as long as he gets the minutes, which I do believe he will get. So we'll see. Ramsdale in goal, kind of an exciting position, the goalkeeper. I have had Raya in previous drafts, and I am kind of tempted to still stick with Raya. I still think he's fine. Ramsdale is a bit of a bonus points machine. The Arsenal defence don't get many bonus points for clean sheets, so if Arsenal do keep clean sheets, and remember they have got really good fixtures, so if they do keep the clean sheets, Ramsdale's likely to pick up bonus points, the odd save point and everything. I think Ramsdale at 5 million is absolutely fine. Yeah, there are obviously other options, but you can't have everyone. At the moment, I'm quite happy with Arsenal being on, looking quite strong initially. Good fixtures, tripling up on them. So yeah, that's the back five, so to speak. Salah kind of also speaks for himself. He's just a points machine. He always starts the season off well. It's just an easy pick he's going to be high owned as well. I don't know what his ownership is at the moment. Let's have a quick look. 59%. So yeah, if you don't have him, you're going to get hammered. Obviously, you could go against him. You could have De Bruyne or Son, save $1 million, and go a bit differential. But I just think going different for the sake of being different is I don't know. Taking that risk is just an unnecessary risk to go without Salah. I've built a lot of teams without Salah just to kind of see how it goes, and the teams do look good. To be fair, they do look good, but I think that Salah is just I don't know, a bit of a points machine. So I'm quite happy to have him in the team, and most likely my captain for Fulham. Mount, 8 million midfielder slot is very interesting. There's Saka, there's Luis Diaz. I can't have Luis Diaz because I've already got the 3 best Liverpool assets in my opinion. Saka I can't have because I'm already tripled up on Arsenal, and I think that Jesus and Martinelli offer potentially better value anyway. And there's plenty of other 8 million midfielders. There's some Man City boys like Foden and Mahrez, which could certainly be interesting, but they're not interesting me right this second because I think Mason Mount is much more nailed. I think he's going to start nearly every game for Chelsea. Chelsea haven't looked great in pre-season, but I do think Mason Mount is still, he sort of year by year he just improves. I really like him as just as a footballer. I think he's just a very good footballer. He reminds me a lot of Frank Lampard, and I know that might be because he played for Chelsea and he's in the same position as him. That's probably why it reminds me. But I don't know, just his finishing, his long range shooting, his range of passing, his energy. I really like Mason Mount. I had him a little bit for last season, and he did pretty well for me. They've got Sterling now, Havertz up front, who I think is also going to do pretty well this season. I think Chelsea, although they haven't had a great pre-season, I think they'll be fine. And Mason Mount for me is one of the best options in the 8 million midfielder slot, so he's in there. The last 2 slots in the team, which I haven't really spoken about, are Martinelli and Bailey. Bailey is a little bit of a punt. I think I'm just going to sort of take a punt on him, a bit like in my F1 fantasy where I took a little bit of a punt on Bottas. I just had a feeling that Bottas was going to do well at the beginning of the season. I had that same feeling, that kind of underpriced option for Aston Villa here. Aston Villa got reasonable fixtures. Where are we? Fixtures. So yeah, Bournemouth, Everton, Palace, West Ham. Not bad. A few tough fixtures further on, but he's at 5 million. We can always just bench him or swap him out for someone else. Wildcard. Keep going back to the early wildcard. Be aggressive. Take a little bit of a punt on this guy. I think he's going to do well, to be honest. Bournemouth, like I've already mentioned, the reason of having Haaland in the team at the moment. Bournemouth first match this season. I think by Bailey listening to Aston Villa fans on Twitter and in the forums and stuff, and just seeing what they're saying, I think they think that Bailey's going to start. So at 5 million, if he doesn't do well, if he gets a couple of points, then so be it. But I think he could bang, and he could be the sort of player that just shoots up in value when people realise actually this guy's really good, as long as he stays injury free. And similar sort of story for Martinelli. I think he's just really underpriced. I think he'll start most games, at least at the beginning of the season. I know I'm a bit worried about Emile Smith-Rowe coming back and pinching his place because Smith-Rowe had a really great season last season. But yeah, I do think Martinelli, for the start of the season at the very least, is just the best option at 6 million. There's a few other 6 million options, but they just don't interest me anywhere near as much as Martinelli. Martinelli, stats wise, also really impressed me last season when he did play. Yeah, at 6 million, I think that he's the best option, and he fits nicely into the team structure that I've got. So that pretty much sums up my team at the moment. Like I say, I am very tempted by Callum Wilson. I just have this feeling about Callum Wilson, and I kind of want to stick him in my team. I think he's playing Forest first game, newly promoted. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy game, but Newcastle do look strong. They're potentially going to buy James Maddison, who could be feeding in Callum Wilson. I just think Callum Wilson, I want to get him in my team. I'm very tempted, and probably the best way to do it is just switch out Mount for a cheap midfielder and then get Archer on. Switch Archer for Wilson, but I don't know, because I really like Mason Mount as well. So I'll decide that within the next couple of days, because I have to, because it's the deadline. And thank God the deadline is coming, because I keep changing things and tweaking things and overthinking things. And when the deadline comes, I can just be like, and breathe. Well, at least until the matches begin. And well, I say that I'm a Palace fan, as you can see here, the fan league. So I'll be at Sellers Park, cheering on Palace. And even though I've got triple Arsenal who were playing on Friday night, hoping none of the Arsenal players actually score, even though they're in my FPL team. But I guess if they do score, then it's softens the blow slightly, although I still want Palace to win. So anyway, that's my team. That's my FPL video, my first ever FPL video I've done. How did I do? Marks out of 10, please. Yeah, probably if I do FPL videos again in the future, I'll have a little bit more structure, to be honest, rather than just talking aimlessly about my team. But that's just kind of how I'm rolling with it this evening. That's what I'm doing. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Can I improve this at all? Oh, one last thing actually I will say is I did put this team into the Fantasy Football Hub team rating thing, and it came up as 97%, which I think is pretty damn good. 97% predicted points was it 68 or something like that? I can't remember, but either way, really good score there. So predicted points wise, for the first few game weeks, it's good. I'm happy with this team. Like I say, Callum Wilson may wedge his way into the team. We will see. That's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.